everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday night edition of Inside the Headset. We are joined live for the last time, and that reason is I want to give every coach the opportunity to say goodbye and also thank their supporters. They have a lot of people they want to thank, and I've given them the opportunity. I told them ahead of time kind of, what this show's kind of all about, but plus, more so than that, it's where they are currently in the season. We're late into it. I've got a game tomorrow night. We're broadcasting live. That's a Riverdale Oakland game. That's the Battle of the Borough. That's over at Riverdale. That's going to be a huge game. That link is posted, and that will decide right now. That's kind of the 1 and the 2 slot for the region, and then that will cast your playoffs. But anyway, let's start it off. Let's go down to Alabama, and we are joined live. We're going to go to Helena High School, and Helena High School is located south of Birmingham, and we are joined live with the head coach of the Helena Huskies, head coach Richie Busby. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm good, Stork. How y'all doing up there?
Oh, we're doing real good. We're doing real good, and thanks for joining us tonight. You're sitting at 6-3 overall. And since we last talked, you've been on a great roll, and this team is it's kind of weird about where this team is because it's peaked and it's got a little bit of left room in the gas tank, and going to be heading into playoffs, and you're going to fixing to tell me a little bit about that. But you beat Chelsea 38-28, and then you turn around and you beat Calera 49-21, and you're 5-1 in your region, so you should, like I said, you should be good for the playoffs. Talk to me, Richie Busby.
Yeah, we're the 2 seed. Spain Park over in Hoover is the 1 seed. They beat us 28-26. So we're the 2 seed, and we're off this week, which we had hoped it would give us a week to prepare for who we're going to play. But we're matched up with the Region 1, which is down in Mobile, and Mobile is a 9-team region, so they play Week 10. This week is still a region game, so we still don't know who we're going to play. So this week has basically been focused on us, fundamentals, and doing more weightlifting than we usually do. And we've given them off on the field Monday, and we'll give them off Friday and practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But, kind of unique. We're breaking down 2 teams. We're going to either play McGill-Tulane out of Mobile or St. Paul, depending on what happens Friday night between St. Paul and Spanish Fort. So kind of a unique situation for us.
Well, and so will you travel regardless? Are you on the road?
No, we're hosted. We're the 2 seed.
So you're the 2
seed host, yes.
So they're going to come to you. So have you played McGill-Tulane?
We have never played McGill-Tulane or St. Paul. Well, they have played St. Paul before I got there years ago when they were 5A, but I have not played McGill-Tulane or St. Paul, which are 2 private schools out of Mobile, and both very good teams. So the game between St. Paul and Spanish Fort determines who we play come Friday night.
Well, I've known about McGill-Tulane for a long time. So one of their supporters, or a gentleman that gives them a little bit of cash and keeps that school going. I know him very well, and so I know about that school, and I know about their tradition a little bit. But, either way, it's right now, as you break down film and you look at both those teams, I mean, what kind of scares you about a McGill-Tulane if you have to play them?
Well, McGill-Tulane's more of a little bit of a balanced team. Like I said, I haven't watched a whole lot on both of them, just trying not to get one-sided or the other. Their head coach, David Faulkner, has been up at West Virginia with Neil Brown for the last 4 or 5 years when he left Troy to go to West Virginia. So this is a guy he had been in Alabama as a high school coach at several places, and ends up going with Neil Brown to West Virginia. So a guy that's coached at the college level, and now he's down at McGill-Tulane. So very, very sound on both sides of the ball. And then you flip over to St. Paul. St. Paul is just unbelievable defensively. When they played Saraland, who's the reigning 6A state champion, who's averaging about 40 points a game, they got beat 16-14. So they're just really, really good defensively. Offensively, I don't want to say they're average. They're still pretty good. So two kind of totally different teams. St. Paul's a really big physical team where McGill-Tulane probably matches up a little better with us just as far as body types and kind of what they do. So it's going to be a challenge either way, depending on what happens Friday night.
When you talk about the St. Paul team, what type of guys are we talking? I mean, are they 6'4", 6'5"? What the linemen, are they good looking, or what do we got?
Yeah, they're good looking across the board, especially defensively. I mean, everybody I've talked to in Mobile is like, you just cannot run the football on them. And when Saraland and the Theodores of the world and the Spanish Sports of the world can't run the football on them, in Alabama, I think you could poll any 6A football coach in our state, and they would tell you Region 1 in Mobile is by far the class of 6A, that region. So, just really good teams down there. And so, people that listen to us, we like to run the football, and we're without our starting tailback. Our backup tailback last week had a really good game, 251 yards on 13 carries. But I'd rather have both of them going into those playoffs than just one of them. So, like I say, it's going to be a tough road no matter who we play coming out of that region.
Yeah, when you don't have your number one gun as a tailback, I know Coach Creasy went against Ravenwood. Both of them are undefeated. That was last Friday night, and he lost 2 kids in one game. So, two guns. And so when you lose 2 guns,
right.
Whether, and one's a utility player, one's, one can play both sides. Well, they both can play both sides of the ball if they want to. I mean, but they're athletes and they want to play. And I mean, it's that tough. Well, special teams, everything, is that all still intact? And other than your tailback, are you missing any on the front line? What else on the injury front?
Well, as of right now, that's it. And our tailback, he got hurt against Chelsea in that game. He had a torn PCL and a partial tear of his MCL, so we're still hopeful he could possibly get back with a brace sometime in the playoffs. I don't foresee him playing in the first round. So, if we play St. Paul, based on what we know and just looking at them on film, we're going to put the ball in the air. I feel good about our receiving core. We've got Torrey Ward, who made the Alabama All-Star team, that plays against Mississippi in December. So we've got some receivers, that can challenge them downfield. But as you know, when you throw it, 2 of the 3 things that could happen are bad.
Yeah.
So, it'll be a challenge. I'm definitely pulling for St. Paul come Friday night to win the game. Not any slight to McGill-Tulane. I just think we match up better with them. Like I say, no disrespect for them and their coaches. I respect David Faulkner for what he's done in this state, but I just think for us, we match up better against them. But we're at home, and they've got to travel 4.5 hours and, to come play us. So we'll see.
Well, and Helena is a great, and magical things happen at Helena. I mean, your win ratio at home is high, so you got that going for you. I mean, since you've been the head coach there and you've been coaching at Helena, I mean, you present a tough place to play. So that
I feel like we do. I mean, you've been there, you've seen our crowds and our band and our support, and people ask us all the time. We've won in the last 7 years. We've won probably 15 to 18 games late in the fourth quarter, and people ask how you do that, and I really don't know there's anything we do. It's just kind of one of those things where it starts happening and the kids believe. And the three losses we have this year, the three teams we lost to are going to end up finishing the season 28-2. And one of the two losses that Moody has is to Oxford that's going to go undefeated. So I feel like we've played really good opponents, and two of those games went down to the last play of the game, and we just came up on the wrong end of those games. But I think we're battle tested. You want a week off going into the playoffs, but I'm always one that believes when you're playing really well, sometimes that can be a detriment. But I know we needed it mentally and physically just to kind of go back. But with high school kids, it's an off week. Sometimes they don't handle it the right way.
Ooh, you bring up a great question, and or a great thing, and that is, you said you were battle tested. Well, you first got to think to yourself at times when you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, I've got so many region games, so I've got to have those. So I got to have those, to qualify. But when we start talking about non-region games that you don't, you can kind of pick and choose. Getting your blood out there and getting a little bit of taste of somebody that's just a little bit better. You don't have to go Thompson or something like that, but getting something that's a little, that you think you might have a chance to win, or that they're going to be really good the next couple of years. It is good for your program. Even though, you risk getting hurt, but at the same time, football's a dangerous sport. You're going to get hurt anyway. But you can't calculate that point. I mean, come on. But you do like to schedule or try to find, and you kind of conversate with those coaches at the coaches clinic in the wintertime. And is it getting harder since your program's getting better and you've had success at Helena? Is it harder to get those games?
There's no doubt. I mean, I didn't purposely schedule three of the top five teams in the state in our classification to play, but it's like last week on our radio show. I'm like, that's a testament to the past teams and also this team. And we lost. We lost 8 kids from last year's team that are playing college football. And just to be honest, when we sat down and looked at the schedule, like any coach, we found it hard to circle 3 or 4 wins on our schedule. And of the 3 losses, I feel like at least one of those we probably, should have made a play at the end to win it. So this team, just like several of our teams over the last few years, I really feel like is really overachieved. But it's like, it's like I've told the kids, you can beat teams that you should beat by 40, or you can lose by 2 to a top 3 team in your classification. I still believe like you're better off coming out of a close loss from a top 5 team than you are just beating somebody and playing your backups and third teamers the second half. I truly believe that if you come out without a lot of injuries, and we were fortunate enough to do that this year.
Well, a lot of people don't realize it is still the most complicated sport in the world to master. And it is the largest spectator sporting event in the world as far as the NFL. The Super Bowl is the number 1 watch show, and the second most watched show is the NFL Draft. It's just that's it. It's way we calculate, and then it falls off and it goes to college football championship. So, but the game and coaching, and then the magical thing, and that is when 11 men start playing together regardless of their talent level, but they, like you said, they've got that inner feeling that they want to win, and they want to go to they want to practice 3 or 4 more days. That's something that they have to do. You as a coach, you can't develop that. That just happens. It has to happen magically.
Yeah, and we're still learning that, and we talk about this all the time, and we're in the 11th season of Helena High School football, and I've been a part of 7 of them. And the teams that that continue. Even I know it's in Tennessee, it's in Alabama. It's usually the same teams every year that continue on into the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals. Yeah, they have talent, but it's what's expected of that community and those kids. And I truly believe we're still learning that. You've got to reset at the end of the year and try to survive each week. And it's the team that can stay in the moment and not have the kids that play basketball or wrestle or whatever they do looking forward to the next thing, and can just stay focused and just do the little things better than the other team. There's a lot of really good teams that get beat in the playoffs just because they don't have the mindset of week to week to week, because the margin of error shrinks no matter what state you're in so significantly going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and not only that, it's your fan base. It's the people that help you on the. You've got to have playoff minded people that that know how to get everybody together and keep everybody in a forward motion. It's a program. That's what we call it. I mean, it's what you call it too. I mean, you gotta have that mindset that here in the next after Friday night, everything clicks and you shift into playoff mode that. We're going to give it everything we got until we die.
Yeah, it's definitely a community mindset. I mean, like I said, I know it's the same in Tennessee as it is in Alabama. You look at every classification, and the 4 final teams in each classification, usually 2, maybe 3 of them are the same exact communities that are always there. And it starts with the families at home. And, everything involved is just expected of them. And the season doesn't end at week 10.
No, it begins.
And we're definitely still learning that. Sometimes the seniors feel like, we finished region champs, or we're hosting a playoff game. We've done enough. Well, that's not enough. Enough is to finish the season out, put the 10 weeks behind you, and start over, and just survive it. We've struggled to do that, and that's something that we've got to take the next step. Moving forward as a program. But like I said, we're in the 11th season of a program where we're playing some schools that have been playing football for 60, 80 years.
Wow. And, I know what you're talking about, because, you've got those diehards, and I was in college. I went to Eastern Kentucky University, and, during my era and even a little bit before that, Roy Kidd, and he, rest in peace, he's in the Coaching Hall of Fame, but, we didn't lose, and we didn't expect to lose. And then, there was that time then we went over to the Western, and there was a kid named Willie Taggart that took the football and just rammed it right down our throats. We'd never seen a running, throwing quarterback that could just dominate it like that. So you get humbled from time to time. But no, they rabid fans, that are going to be there every game and enjoy, the tradition of high school football. And Helena's definitely got it. Next Friday night, that home gate. And for those of you that don't know and never been there, I've been to a lot of high school facilities and stuff, but when you've got people lined up at 5:30, when you open the gates that they want to go in and get their spot before kickoff, that's pretty good when you got people ready to go, ready to come in. Very few places can say, yeah, they're all lined up waiting when I unlock the gate, and then it's, winner take all on the seats.
Yeah, the atmosphere will be tremendous, and to be honest with you, I hope it's cold, because the team coming out of Mobile, they're, accustomed to a little different weather, but, our fan base is definitely not our issue. You've been there, and our stadium is packed, and the support's there. Our kids just got to be accustomed to continuing to play throughout the playoffs, and it's a grind. Everybody talks about physically with kids. It's more mental when it gets into the playoffs, can you take another game plan? Can you continue to stay focused on what you're trying to do? At this time of year, everybody's banged up. Everybody's tired. But who can put that behind them and focus on the game plan and execute, minimize the mistakes, and do the little things better than the person you're playing?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Coach, this is our last show, and I need to call Coach Gary Rankin and check on him as he has reached win number 496, and they catch Grace at home as he is 9-0, hadn't lost. But anyway, I appreciate you, Coach Busby, and I appreciate your friendship. You appreciate your time and talking on the show. I mean, everybody, it's an effort, but always great content, and we love having you on the show.
Well, Stork, I truly appreciate you allowing us to talk a little bit about Alabama high school football, and Tennessee's great too. It's truly in my opinion, biased opinion, is the best sport in the world for young men. But I hope you continue to let us on there, and I truly appreciate you talking about our program.
Well, you're one of the best, and we'll do it again next year. And good luck in the playoffs, and I hope to visit with you soon, Coach.
Yes, sir. Go Huskies.
Go Huskies.